Good evening. I'd like to now call this meeting to order. April 7th, 2025, the Village of Deerfield Board of Trustees. Roll call, please.
Mayor Shapiro.
Here.
Trustee Benton.
Here.
Trustee Berg, absent. Trustee Goldstone.
Here.
Trustee Jacoby, absent. Trustee Metz-Childers, absent. Trustee Oppenheim.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. If we could all rise, I would ask Jake Pachter to please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
That's a champion.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Don't sit down. Do you mind just going right there?
Go to the mic.
Go to the mic. Jake Pachter, who just now is in front of the mic, won the IESA State Championship Wrestling, Class A 100 pounds, and deserves a huge, huge honor for quite a feat. We had a chance just to talk, just for a second, right before the meeting, and maybe you could just introduce yourself, we know who you are, and tell everyone what you just told me.
I'm Jake Pachter. I wrestle for Crusoe Middle School at 100 pounds, and to make state, you have to get top 3 regionals and then get top 4 at sectionals. So I made state, and you have to win 4 matches in a row to win state. So my first match, I won 12-3. My second match, I won 16-0. And my third match, I won 7-5. And my fourth match, the state finals, it was tied 4-4 and win the extra time. In overtime, I took him down to win state.
Wow. Congratulations.
Wow.
Thank you.
Well, not only are we proud, and we're going to have a sign for you in just one second, but I think there are a couple folks here with you who are very proud. Could you tell us who you came here with?
I came here with my dad, Mark Pechter, my mom, Sharon Pechter, my coach, Mr. Spagnoli, one of my dad's other coaches, Coach Kirby. I went with one of my dad's former coaches, Coach Cohen. Yeah.
Hey, Mark, you got a picture. Can you talk to us about that picture?
Sure. 11 years ago, we had a state champion, Colton Emmerich, and in that picture that we took that was in Amateur Wrestling News, my son was in my arms when we were taking this picture 11 years ago, almost to the day. It was much warmer on that day, but when we were outside, took the picture, and I thought, how cool would it be to recreate the picture now that my son has won the state title. So that's what we're going to do today. So that's the picture over here, and it was in the Amateur Wrestling News. It's kind of cool.
Hey, flip it around. Let us see it just for a second.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Just show it up.
Just
Camera.
yeah, just no. Just turn around. Let us see it.
We want to see it too.
Awesome.
Oh my gosh! So the little guy, that's you.
Yeah.
Look at that.
So you're going to put him in your arms again tonight?
I want to see this.
You could ask me that. He's much heavier, and I'm much older. So probably not.
We're very proud, and congratulations once again.
Thank you.
Before we walk down and take some pictures.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So we'd like to present you with this. All of you. Home of Jake Pachter, Crusoe Middle School 2025 IESA Wrestling Class A 100-pound state champion. And for the board.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah. So we're going to take a picture.
So we're going to come this way too, Dan. And I would welcome all the family members to come up. Could they do this?
So let's turn around over here, Ken. Where do you want us? Right.
Yeah, that works. All the family up there.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks. Wrestle that sign to your front yard.
Hey, Jake, wasn't there a wrestler who won his 5th national championship in a row or something like that? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, Carter Starachi.
Yeah.
That could be.
That could be you.
But we're hoping for him to be done in college in 4 years.
Good point.
Thanks, guys.
All right, I
Congratulations.
now would like to read a proclamation and then present it. National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week. Whereas thousands of Americans dial 911 for help in emergencies every day, and whereas the men and women who answer these calls for help can often make the difference between life and death for persons in need. Yes, please. Feel free to go home, do your homework,
And
lift
feel
some weights, do something.
And feel free to earn your way back. That's awesome.
Whereas Deerfield's public safety telecommunicators are more than calm and reassuring voices at the other end of the phone. They are knowledgeable and highly trained individuals who work closely with other police, fire, medical personnel. Because emergencies can strike at any time, we rely on the vigilance and the preparedness of these individuals 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. And whereas our village enjoys the highest standards of public health and safety, and we owe great debt to the men and women who, by applying their expertise in telecommunications, help to make that achievement possible. During this special observance, we acknowledge that debt and extend a heartfelt thanks to each of them. Now, therefore, I, Daniel C. Shapiro, Mayor of the Village of Deerfield, do hereby proclaim the week of April 13th through 19th, 2025 as National Telecommunicators Week in the Village of Deerfield in honor of the men and women whose diligence and professionalism keep our village and its citizens safe, proclaimed the 7th day of April, 2025. Do I have a motion to approve?
Move approval.
Second?
Roll call.
Trustee Oppenheim.
Yes.
Mayor Shapiro.
Yes.
Trustee Benton.
Yes.
Trustee Goldstone.
Yes.
Motion passes. And we
Steve's over
have
there.
Steve
We're
and
welcome.
Terry.
Come on up, Steve.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Board. As always, I always appreciate the support you give the police department and the dispatch center. The dispatchers, I spoke to several of them today and several of them last week, and they just wanted me to pass on how much they appreciate you guys supporting them during this week. They're kind of the unsung heroes. You know, they pick up that phone and answer the emergency calls and dispatch the police and the fire guys. So they appreciate you. They do a fantastic job, and you're in good hands with those individuals behind the headset. So
We certainly are.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate everything that you and the men and women dispatchers do for our community. It's a vital service.
I appreciate you. Thanks very much, guys.
Thank you. We have another proclamation, Earth Month. Whereas Earth Month is celebrated annually in April, culminating in Earth Day on April 22nd to raise awareness of the importance of protecting our environment and promoting sustainable practices that ensure a healthier planet for all. And whereas climate change, pollution, the loss of biodiversity, and rising greenhouse gas emissions pose threats to the health of our planet and require action at the local, national, and global levels. And whereas the Village of Deerfield is committed to environmental stewardship through a wide range of efforts, including promoting energy efficiency, advancing waste diversion programs, advancing waste diversion programs, protecting clean water resources, expanding green spaces, and encouraging sustainable transportation and development. And whereas throughout Earth Month, Deerfield residents, businesses, schools, and community organizations are encouraged to engage in environmental education, adopt sustainable practices, and work together to promote a culture of environmental responsibility and long-term stewardship. And whereas Deerfield celebrates the dedication of its Greenhouse Gas Reduction Working Group, Sustainability Commission, residents, and local partners who work year-round to promote environmental responsibility. Now, therefore, I, Daniel C. Shapiro, the Mayor of Deerfield, do hereby proclaim the month of April as Earth Month in Deerfield and urge our community to join in celebrating our planet, reflecting our environmental impact and taking meaningful steps, large and small, to protect and preserve the earth for our future generations. Do I have a motion to approve the proclamation?
So moved.
Second?
Roll call.
Trustee Goldstone.
Yes.
Trustee Oppenheim.
Yes.
Mayor Shapiro.
Yes.
Trustee Benton.
Yes.
And now, Mayor, if I can present this to you.
Mary is the chair of our Greenhouse Gas Reduction Task Force, and super happy and super engaged with this effort to improve our environment for today and the long term with responsible actions. Apparently, they're happy with each other. But
I never get to stand here. This is so awesome. I accept this on behalf of all the people in this village work towards sustainability. There's a lot of people in our town who are concerned about the environment and are working really hard to make sure we behave as sustainable as possible, and I do thank them. There's many more people all the time, and they're urging their neighbors to compost, to have safe gardening practices, to be efficient with their electricity, thing after thing after thing. There's so many things that we can do, and I thank all of them. It takes a village, and a village is doing it. So,
Mayor, we thank you because you've been the voice on this board promoting these causes, promoting sustainability, being the chairman of the greenhouse gas, being really on the front of what can we do better for a safer and healthier planet. Thank you for everything.
it's totally worth every bit of effort that we make, and I encourage everybody else to join in. It's worth it. Thank you.
Minutes of our previous meeting, March 17th, 2025. Is there a motion to approve?
Move approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Treasurer's report.
This is the February 2025 Treasurer's Report. It represents 16% of the year. We're still pretty early in the year to do any major analysis, but I do have a few highlights tonight. Net sales tax continues to exceed the prior 2 years. That's due largely to increased costs of goods that are being sold. The decrease from the prior month is due to non-recurring sales in the prior month. So last month was a little higher than we would typically expect. The gross sales tax also increased from the prior year. That's due to economic incentive activity, which of course then causes an increase in the finance department expenditures. Water and sewer billings continue to reflect lower usage months, real typical this time of year. Hotel tax reflects payments from all 6 hotels and back payments from 2 hotels, so we are now caught up at the end of February and also caught up through the end of March as well. Electric utility tax for the year includes 1 month of receipts. We do get 2 in March, so we'll be caught up with March, or by March there too. Building permit revenue includes permits from Pulte and Oracle, along with the routine monthly activity. And switching over to the expenditure side, notable expenditures in February include the purchase of asset management software, fire hydrants, reinstalling the public works generator, and a portable generator at the treatment plant. All planned and budgeted expenditures, but just things worth noting. So, so far so good, 2 months in.
And I expect we're going to get more building permit revenue as more stuff comes online.
Yeah, we for this year's budget, we actually doubled the revenue that we have in the previous years, knowing that we had a lot of projects coming. So it's off to a good start 2 months in, but yes, we continue to expect more of that money to come in throughout the year.
Questions? And I know we're just coming into the first quarter or almost ending the first quarter, but you always do a tremendous job for us. And we
Thank you.
appreciate everything that you do year in and year out. We have such great financial management, AAA bond rating, and all the other things that you do to help us. So thank you.
Thank you.
Bills and payroll. Is there a motion to approve?
Move approval. Second.
Roll call.
Trustee Benton,
Yes.
Trustee Goldstone,
Yes.
Trustee Oppenheim,
Yes.
Mayor Shapiro.
Yes, motion passes. Now is the time in our meeting where we offer the public an opportunity to make a comment on a non-agenda item. Is there anyone here who would like to talk about an item that's not on the agenda? Okay, let's move right forward then to item 2525 under reports, consideration and action on the report and recommendation of the Plan Commission on the request for approval for preliminary plat of subdivision for the properties at 145 Park Lane and 140 Birchwood Avenue, and the approval of a resolution.
Plan Commission held a public hearing on February 27, 2025 to consider the request for a preliminary plat of re-subdivision for the properties at 145 Park Lane and 140 Birchwood Avenue in order to move the existing lot line between the two properties 35 feet to the east. After the hearing, the motion to recommend approval of the request was approved 6-0 by the Plan Commission. Petitioners are here tonight, and they're available to answer your questions, and staff is in concurrence with the Plan Commission recommendation. I don't know if you want to ask the petitioners to kind of review their proposal, or depends on if there are any questions.
You guys want to give us a Reader's
Thumbnail?
Digest version of what you're doing?
Subdivision for dummies.
Please introduce yourselves.
Indeed. Jason Dolan from Dolan Engineering, civil engineer.
And I'm Ron Dunbar with New Horizon Construction, the Fines Builder.
We're here tonight with the Fines, the owner of the property, to ask your consideration for the re-subdivision of this property. I think the most important thing we can point out to you is that in this re-subdivision, there's no variation, there's no relief being requested. That is, the lots are being simply reconfigured to move the common boundary between them easterly 35 feet, which still results in two lots in conformance with the zoning, all in terms of lot area, lot width, lot depth. And so that's the consideration that the Fines are requesting of you. We've worked with your planning department, with Jeff and Dan. We've worked with your engineering and public works department to make sure that this constitutes a viable subdivision. It doesn't relocate or disturb any utilities. And so we come to you with that request on behalf of the Fines. Happy to answer any questions to get down the details, but that's just where our request upon you is.
This is perfect. Thank you for that. And then soon you'll be coming back on final, because I don't think this is terribly complicated.
That's exactly right. Just
Right.
procedurally.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Great.
to come back.
Questions?
Two great lots is what's going to happen here, folks.
Okay, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Mayor Shapiro,
Yes.
Trustee Benton,
Yes.
Trustee Goldstone,
Yes.
Trustee Oppenheim.
Yep.
So we're approving by resolution the recommendation of the Plan Commission for preliminary plat approval, and we'll see you at final. So,
Indeed. Thank you for your time.
thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Good luck.
On our consent agenda, we have nothing. Under old business, we have 2523-1, an ordinance approving the 2025 zoning map.
Andrew's got this one, I think.
Happy to introduce this. This is our annual review of the zoning map. This is the 2025 zoning map, which reflects two changes. 300 Wilmot Road is shown as a residential planned unit development here in the R5 district. That's Pulte's 42 single-family homes. And then near Deerbrook Mall there, on the far south end of town, we annexed the railroad that is now officially in the village of Deerfield.
And what do we zone that as, public?
Public right-of-way is no
Yeah.
zoning district.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
correct. But it just shows that it's in the village limits.
And Kent gets to check this off his list, because that's been a long time thing. That's
I think
that's
there's
a
only-
15-year thing, so I'm happy about that.
I think there's only like one and a little bit of another building left for demo.
Yeah, they're making good
Yeah.
good progress out there. Yep.
They've had
at
pretty
300.
good, dry weather for a while.
Yep.
Is there a motion to approve?
Move approval.
Second.
Roll call.
Trustee Benton,
Yes.
Trustee Goldstone,
Yes.
Trustee Oppenheim,
Yes.
Mayor Shapiro.
Yes.
Thank
The
you.
ordinance approving the zoning map and Kent's checklist is approved.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's what we're calling it.
Under new business, a resolution declaring the village's official intent to reimburse certain capital expenditures from the proceeds of future debt issues.
So we previously discussed this one at the March 12th Committee of the Whole meeting. It allows the village to pay the upfront capital costs to certain projects and then later reimburse ourselves with bond proceeds if we determine that that's the best way to go. It does not require that you issue bonds. It just allows you to reimburse ourselves with future bond proceeds.
Should we decide to do
Should
that?
we decide to do that? We'd be back to talk about that along with the 2026 capital projects. We would like to talk about bond proceeds.
And Eric, why are we doing this? In other words, why is this resolution necessary?
I think it's part of the bond council's, in order to keep the tax exempt status of the bonds. If we want to do that in the future, we would need, if we want to reimburse, we need to, it's coming to me.
Yeah,
We're gonna spend
a lot better than I can ever imagine doing.
We're going to spend the money now or shortly. But as you recall, the Hazel Avenue's over budget. And so rather than wait to pay those in the future, which we can't do, we want to pay those today with money that the village has on hand. And if we determine that later, when we're looking at the 2026 capital projects, that bond money makes sense, we would be able to come back and pay ourselves back for those.
Okay.
And we did this in 2015. We've done this before.
Yep.
Okay.
And again, it doesn't obligate you to do anything, but it preserves an option to do something.
Because we might be anticipating some capital improvements or some other expenditures that
I'd rather keep
could be extraordinary that we need to address.
I'd rather keep a door open than close it.
Yep.
And this allows us to do that.
And there's no end date to this either, correct?
We can't do it forever.
There probably is.
But I think I want to say like 18 months, maybe something like that. But it's not forever. But it isn't. When we talk about the capital projects for 2026, we'll have plenty of time.
Within that amount of time.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and just as a reminder, if you approve a bond issue, you have to spend that money in 2 years.
I think it's
ish.
I think it's three total, but there's certain
2+.
Yeah.
But there's a time frame that's confining. So that's partly what we're trying to say here. Let's give ourselves an option. If we do something, let's give ourselves an opportunity that we may not exercise.
Right.
And again, who knows what bond rate? Bond rates might not be good. Whatever.
Yeah.
So the point is,
6 hours from now.
Yes. So let's give ourselves an option. That's our recommendation, but not bind ourselves to have to do it. But give yourself the option to do it.
Questions from the board? Is there a motion to approve?
Move approval.
Second.
Roll call.
Trustee Goldstone?
Yes.
Trustee Oppenheim?
Yes.
Mayor Shapiro?
Yes.
Trustee Benton?
Yes.
Motion passes. Item 2527. Thank you, Eric. Item 2527, ordinance opting the Park District and school districts out of the Cook County paid leave ordinance.
And we have Anne Marie with us from the Park District, their executive director tonight. So we're welcoming her and ask her to introduce herself to you. But this is a request that came from the Park District. Our neighboring communities of Northbrook, Glenview, Glencoe, several others, and Dan, I know you're aware of this, is because the Cook County adopted an ordinance that did not exempt Park District and school district employees from this provision, whereas the state law did. There's an effort to allow our local districts to opt out of this requirement. We have to use our home rule authority to do that, and staff is recommending that we do that. And we recognize that the Park District has employees that work in both places. So you think about yourself when you're managing employees and payroll systems, you got to do things there and there differently. As well as just the fact that the Park District and the village compensate our part-time employees significantly well. This isn't a thing that's an issue, but it's an accounting thing, but it's also an important thing. And maybe we could ask Anne Marie to just restate
If you wouldn't mind coming up, and while you saunter up here,
their interest in supporting in providing this request.
Yes, and we did talk to Cook County Commissioner Britton about this.
Yep.
And I think in particular with park districts where there are so many part-time folks,
Right.
in the summer, lifeguards,
And we have the SAC Center down
et
there,
cetera.
guys, so, right.
It makes sense to opt out park districts and school districts, and again, particularly park districts. But maybe you can talk a little bit about this.
Correct. Thank you so much for having me here. I'm Anne Marie Flaherty. I have not met everybody yet, but it's been about 6 months, so getting my feet wet here at the Deerfield Park District. So thank you for allowing me to be here, and we were reaching out to the village to ask for exemption for this paid leave requirement. The state of Illinois had enacted in March of 2023 a paid leave act and had specifically exempted park districts as well as school districts. The next year, Cook County then specifically, however, they put their own paid leave requirement and did not exempt park districts and school districts. So all of the park districts and school districts, we kind of thought it was a mistake of maybe they forgot what was going on here, of what was happening. And over the past year or two have been working with Cook County of how we can address this unfunded mandate. So with it, as a park district, we offer all of our staff very robust benefits that we have, paid time off, leave that they have are full-time, as well as staff that might be working over 1,000 hours in a year. And really, the main thing that it impacts is our seasonal staff. Mm-hmm. And that's where the challenge comes for park districts, is it's hitting all of our lifeguards. And there's little requirements of what you can ask for them of if somebody wants to have the time off. So if all of a sudden 100 lifeguards want to have the time off, you have to give them the time off. And so we would not be able to have the pools open. We would not be able to have our daycare centers, our camps where we have the different ratios. So that's the biggest challenge.
And find someone else to fill in
and we
pay
can't,
overtime or something else. Or
we would have to, but we cannot. Because
okay.
I can't grab you to be a lifeguard all of a sudden.
That's right.
Or somebody
That's right.
to be a camp counselor. There's
Right.
certain requirements that you have of safety trainings,
Correct.
of the first aid, of
Right.
the different requirements that you have. So it's not as easy of just moving a body over here to there. There's certain safety requirements.
Yep.
For the park district, it would be, depending upon how we would have to follow it, it would be between $10,000 and $40,000 a year of a cost to us for the park district, as well as the biggest thing to us is more of the safety. We want the safety of all of our participants. People are at the programs and activities. That's our number one requirement. So majority of, I should know this, but majority of every village in Cook County has exempted their park district as well as their school districts from this. So we're asking for the village of Deerfield to be able to exempt us from this. We feel that we treat all of our staff very fairly. We are always working with them. If they do need time off, they're not punished. There's nothing negative. If somebody needs some time off, we're always working with everybody in those different areas. So we're asking for the village to exempt the park district also.
Does anyone have any questions for Anne Marie?
And I know, Jennifer, you'd reach out over the weekend. This would, if the village adopts this ordinance, this will be in place until either we choose to change it or
Cook County.
the Cook County changes their requirements. So that
Well, as a parent of a longtime lifeguard, I'm very well aware of the training that it takes. This is a very specialized kind of employee that you have, and I know you struggle to staff the
Right.
pools already. And the thought that you would have to treat employees differently, this is crazy, because part of your facilities are in Cook County and part are in Lake County. I can see how this would not only be a safety issue, but also an accounting nightmare. So
Is there a motion?
I move approval.
Second. Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Trustee Oppenheim,
Yes.
Mayor Shapiro,
Yes.
Trustee Benton,
Yes.
Trustee Goldstone.
Yes.
Motion carries.
And
Thank
Anne
you
Marie,
very
thank you
much.
for joining us
Thank you
tonight.
for
Of course.
And good luck to you at the Park District.
Yes, I'm
We'd like to
looking
see
forward
more of
to
you.
getting to know all of you a little bit more, and we'll invite you over to all of our activities that we have
Cool.
coming. Parks and Recreation. My first job, I was a paper girl. I had my brother's paper route, but after that I was 12 and I was a swim aide, and then
There you go.
they hired you younger a few years back.
I remember.
So that and lifeguarding, so Parks and Recreation have always just been in me. My brother and sister also both work for park districts, the two of them. So it's a love that I have, and I am so glad to be here in the community. I know it's not the topic of what our conversation is right now, but
We're
really
glad to
look
have you.
forward to
Absolutely.
working with everybody here and getting to know everybody a little bit more.
Great.
Great, terrific. Thank you.
Thank you
Good luck
very
to you.
much. Appreciate it.
Items for discussion by the mayor and board of trustees. As a reminder, we have our committee of the whole meeting on April 16th at 5 o'clock. We have a couple of agenda items that are going to be carryovers from our prior committee of the whole meeting, and we'll jump right into as first on the agenda. I want to congratulate Jennifer, Bob, Jesse, and Mary on the election results. We'll have a swearing in our first meeting of May.
May 5th.
So,
And
Jesse,
also Mayor
congratulations.
Dan.
Yes.
Oh, thank you. We're going to have a great next term, and we got lots of great work to accomplish. Theater D is now performing, or Old Town is now the performance at Theater D, which is at Caruso. The performance runs from April 11th to the 13th. I did have the pleasure of saying a couple words and introducing opening night and watching Old Town. Our Town, not Old Town.
Yeah.
That's a little bit of a typo. It's Our Town. So one of the interesting things of doing the introduction was that in 1942, my dad was in Our Town
No kidding.
in high school and played Doc Gibbs. So here we are, some 80 years
Replay.
later, 82 years later.
cool.
That's so fun.
So kind of cool. Over the weekend, Junior Model UN occupied our village, this room and a couple other rooms, to do the Model UN, whatever it was, what a program?
Competition program.
They debate.
For
And,
middle,
and these middle schoolers were
right.
unbelievable. They were. I stayed for about the first hour or so. They were poised. They were articulate. They were bright. And if that's where our future is, we're in good shape.
We have a former Model UN member at this table.
Nice, Benjamin.
The high school level.
And so, with all those good things, there is bad and sad news. Larry Berg's father died a couple days ago. The funeral in the Shiva War today. So we extend our condolences to Larry, Bonnie, family, kids, grandkids. Yeah.
Hazel Avenue update. Bob, I'm going to bring you up here. It's a project affecting a lot of us, right? We've got Hazel Avenue shut down in various portions, and we want to just keep the board up to date on how that thing is progressing.
Thank you, Manager Street and Mayor. For the benefit of those that aren't familiar with this project, I'm just going to give a quick run through because there might be some out there that don't know that much about it. So Hazel Avenue extends from Wilmot Road to Waukegan Road and in its entirety. And construction along Hazel Avenue started, development started in the early 1900s. So some of the earliest plats of property along Hazel Avenue are from 1898-ish. Homes weren't starting to be built in there until around 1920, 1930. Well, as you can imagine, Hazel Avenue started, the construction and build out of Hazel Avenue started on the east end at Waukegan and moved its way west as development kind of pushed that direction. And so the infrastructure was built out in that way. So the roads are varying widths. The water main is of varying ages. There's sanitary and storm sewer. First of all, storm sewer that was combined storm sewer at some point in time, meaning that it was sanitary and storm in one pipe versus separated, which they've been separated for many years. So it has been a very long time since it was developed, and then a very long time since it was ever reconstructed. In 2011-ish, we did a resurfacing project there. At that point in time, we knew that by looking at what the infrastructure condition was out there, that we wouldn't be able to do that again. And so we've kind of been building up for this project for quite some time. And so in 2020, just to give an idea of how long it takes for a federal project or a project of this scope to get off the ground, in 2020 we started with interviews of consulting firms that would do design work for us, really a phase one, which is kind of an environmental or preliminary engineering. And then that turned into phase two or design engineering in 2021. And so really 5 years ago is when this thing started. Now we're in construction, and construction will take a year. So by the end of 2025, we're at the end of the 5th year, and there's our federal project. So 5 years from start to finish. If the project didn't have federal money in it, we could complete it quicker. But we have the $5 million price tag that we got from through STP and through Lake County. So it's a great offset for the cost of the project, which is now the project was open around $10 million, and with engineering it's around 11.5. So it's a pretty healthy project. But so the $5 million helps us out. All along the way, we started out with communication, and as you know, the engineering part for us, because that's what we do. The engineering part is relatively straightforward. It's not a lot of things that we can't figure out or that we haven't encountered in the past. But the difficult part is the communication, and making sure that we're communicating with the public, making sure that we're communicating with the trustees and everybody that's involved. And sometimes people don't want to be communicated with, but we have to knock on their door. We have to make sure they're getting communicated with, that we're telling them, hey, there's a project coming along. And so in 2020, we started this communication piece with a real quick letter saying, hey, we're going to be surveying. And so you'll see survey people out there. Move forward to, we started construction, and of course we had public meetings along the way, but we started construction in early March, and we started up again with notifications to people saying, hey, we're taking trees down and we're going to be doing tree removal for the project. Really, Tyler Dickinson and John Guccione, the two folks that are in our office, are the two gentlemen that are really in charge of communication and construction of the project. They've been exemplary in their abilities to execute the beginning of the project, to execute the communication in the project, and to keep everything organized and to keep everybody informed on what's going on. And with that, they devised, we're sending out letters. We're putting door hangers on doors. We have a blog that's updated weekly. We have information that gets pushed out on the website. So all this information is going out. And like I mentioned, we're engineers, so communication isn't necessarily our greatest strength, but we work on it. And so it's something that's been a work in progress. So the project started in mid-March. We did some tree removal, and that's pretty much from stem to stern, intermittent trees throughout. We have Commonwealth Edison, AT&T, and Comcast currently in the sandbox doing pole removals. They're taking poles out, putting new poles in, as Commonwealth Edison, which is the highest utility, as they complete their work, and the next utility down starts their work, which is AT&T, and then Comcast goes last, and then the poles get removed. So that's the stage that we're in right now with utility poles, but moving along very nicely as far as utility relocations. Between Wilmot Road and which is the west fork of the middle fork. The west fork of the north branch of the Chicago River, so it's the creek that runs through, and the bridge there, which is about 1,000 feet east of Wilmot Road. In that section right there, we have one underground crew that has been focused on installing water main, and then focused on installing storm sewer lateral, so the storm sewer sections that go north and south. They're now working on installing water services. The water main that they installed has been complete, it's been tested, chlorinated, and it's ready for use. They're now switching the water services over from the existing main over to the new main, and then once that's complete, they will abandon the old water main in place. East of the bridge, between the bridge and Prairie Avenue, there's a second underground crew. That second underground crew has been working on installing large diameter storm sewer. It's 42-inch storm sewer, and it goes between the bridge and Prairie. There's additional storm sewer east of there, but we haven't gotten to that point yet. So they're focused on that section right now. They're just about complete with that, and when they complete that storm sewer, they're going to drop back. They're going to start installing water main in that section, and they're going to run east with water main. Coming up in the next couple weeks, we have the underground crew that's west of the bridge is going to hopscotch over, and they're going to go to the very eastern end of the project. We're going to close Hazel Avenue entirely between Chestnut and Waukegan Road. So it'll be a full closure in that section. They're going to install storm sewer, water main in that area, services, same treatment with the underground work in that area. At the same time, we have a contractor to Specialized coming in on the 21st. They're going to begin directional drilling water main. We have two sections where there'll be directional drilling. One section will be where they're going to directional drill under the creek. So this would go from, this would connect the western underground crew and the eastern underground crew. That link is going to connect, and then we're going to run water main under the railroad tracks to connect up the section that's on the very eastern end of the project. So that's kind of a quick look ahead, and as schedules go, the project right now is approximately 11% complete, which is tracking well. We've spent about $1.5 million, and we need to spend about $1 million to $1.5 million every month between now and completion of the project. Barring weather, barring material deliveries, barring any other things, a union strike that could occur in the middle of the project.
Bite your tongue.
We're on track for completion in the fall. It's likely that some of this work will extend over into next year, and by that I mean that some landscaping work will probably extend into next year, possibly tree planting, landscaping, punch list items, etc., cleanup. So some things might extend into next year. Lead services, as we know, the lead services are an issue and have been. There's been state legislation that requires that we go after and replace lead services. This will be a topic of the committee of the whole that you mentioned, Dan, Mayor, coming up at the next on the 16th. So we know for a fact that there are 16 or so lead services within the Hazel Avenue infrastructure project. This board approved a cost share with those homeowners a couple meetings ago, and since that point in time, they've all been replaced. And so that portion is complete. Now the contractor can come in and do the installation of their water main and make their final connection up to the new copper services. And that's really all I have for a quick update on the project. If you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them.
That's a great report, and you mentioned several times communication. But what also is involved is coordination. Mm-hmm. The amount of coordination that your team has to engage in with schools and the public and park district and the utilities and the crew, it's unbelievable. Mm-hmm. So hats off to you guys for not only communicating well, what you're doing, but coordinating this massive project as you have been.
Have you gotten to the point where you can get the water pipe under the railroad tracks without holding up trains and service and so forth?
So that'll be done via means of directional drilling. We have directional drilled under the railroad tracks before in the past, and you may recall the underpass tunnel that was done by similar means. So we're familiar with it. We've done a lot of it in the village. In fact, that particular type of construction they've really honed in on, really specializing. Certain contractors have specialized in that. Not saying that things can't happen because they do, but we're pretty comfortable with it.
And Your Honor, just appreciate, we recognize and thanks for Anne Marie for being here. We're trying not to screw up the pool season at Mitchell Park. That's a big thing. Not that parking might be restricted or access might be restricted a little bit, but we're cognizant that we're trying to get the western part of that done in a way that's usable, because the pool season's obviously big for a huge part of our resident base. So trying to do that, and congratulate Bob and his team for what they're working on. And Dan, you hear the conversations at least once a week. We're trying to keep those guys moving and keep the crews, and we're super happy with the contractor we have and our past history with them, and we expect that they will continue to make good progress. And not that we are breaking eggs, so we're going to deal with it. It's going to mess with the parade a little bit come 4th of July. We're cognizant of that, but we're trying to minimize all those things. But this is the last major collector street that we have to rebuild, along with the underground utilities in the last 15 years. So once we get this done, guys, you're good for at least 50 on a lot of these streets, so which is awesome.
So that's a major project, and I know I've said this before, but that's one project.
Right.
Right. Along with Continental, the SLIF,
The housings, yeah.
the Pulte development, the demolition that's going on. You guys, Event Point, thank you. You guys are just doing a tremendous, tremendous job in light of all these significant projects, and we thank you very much.
Thank you. And one thing that I would leave you all with, and not necessarily this group, because I know you're all informed in it, but if people, those that are out there listening to this, sign up for the blog, get informed, go to our website, and if you see somebody, if you're living in the project limits and you need information, you can ask anybody on the job site for information. Everybody's happy to help you out. And in worst case scenario, you can call the office and we can always give you more information that you need. We're more than willing to communicate with people, and that's what we really like to do. We really enjoy that part of our job. So thank you so much. Yeah.
Great job, Bob. Thanks to you and your team.
Now I'd like to entertain a motion to enter into closed session pursuant to 5 ILCS 120/2C5 and 5 ILCS 120/2C11. Is there a motion?
What he said.
Second.
Roll call.
Trustee Goldstone?
Yes.
Trustee Oppenheim?
Yes.
Mayor Shapiro?
Yes.
Trustee Benton?
Yes.
We will come back to adjourn this open session, but we will have no more business to attend to.
Thanks, Anne Marie.